To customize the apps that are on your home screen, tap and hold on an app, then choose Edit Home Screen. When you do this, you will see that all of the apps begin to wiggle. Next, you can rearrange the apps by tapping on an app and dragging it to a new location. You can also create groups of apps. To do this, drag an app on top of the app you would like to group it with. If I wanted to rename this group, I could simply tap on the group and type a new name in the top. It is also possible to move an app onto a different page of your iPad screen. To do so, tap on the app and drag it to the right side of your screen or the left side of the screen until you have found the page where you would like it to be. Then lift your finger. It is also possible to add apps to your dock. To do so, tap the app and drag it down to the dock. On the left side of your dock, you will see apps that you will always have access to, while the right side of your dock are apps that have been recently used. These apps will automatically change depending on what you've been using recently. To remove an app from the dock, simply tap on it and drag it out of the dock. To more easily locate apps, you can do a swipe down and search. To do this, swipe down in the middle of your screen and a search bar will come up. Type what you are looking for. When the app shows up, simply tap on it and it will open. Search can also be used for other things. Try doing a simple math problem. You can see that search will automatically recommend the correct answer. It can also do conversions. If search doesn't find a match on your iPad, it will automatically create suggestions for an internet search. You may have used the camera before, but there are many awesome features to note. Tap the camera app to open. The shutter button is the most important button in camera. This is the button you will use to take a picture or to start or stop a video. One feature you may not be familiar with is AE/AF lock. Tap on your screen and hold until this box appears. Slide down to darken or up to lighten your picture. This is a great way to control the lighting in your photo before it's taken rather than editing afterwards. On the right side of your screen, you will see a slider that has different photo options. You can swipe up or down to try the other options. Panel will let you take a panoramic picture. Choose which side you'd like to start with, then keep the arrow on this center line as you slide your iPad across the scene. In the end, you will get a long horizontal photo. Watch out for shadows. Swiping up from photo will give you video options. To record a video, press the shutter button. Record as long as you want, and when you are finished, tap the shutter button once again. You can also capture slow motion video. There are lots of other options on the top portion of the camera screen. Live photos will take a video snippet of your photo so that you can choose the perfect moment. Next, you can decide if you want your photo to be HDR or have a high dynamic range. HDR photos often have extra contrast. The timer feature allows you to set a 3 or 10-second delay. It will count down before it takes the photo. When it takes the photo, it will take a burst of 10 photos for you to choose from. Next is the flash button. You can choose to have an auto flash on or off. The camera toggle will switch between the front-facing and rear-facing camera so that you can take a selfie. On the left-hand side of your screen, you will notice the zoom slider. You can use this or separate 2 fingers to zoom in. For best results, walk closer to your subject instead of using the zoom. Time-lapse. Time-lapse is a great feature for capturing stop-motion style videos. Time-lapse will take a series of photos and string them together much faster than what happened in real life. The final result will look something like this. Burst mode. Burst mode is great for capturing action shots. Tap your shutter button and hold it down, and you will see a small number that will climb as you hold down the button. When finished, tap here to open your burst. Tap Select at the top of your screen. Swipe across the thumbnails at the bottom until you find your favorite photos. When you find one you like, tap the circle in the corner to select it. When you've found all of your favorites, tap Done in the corner. You will need to decide if you will keep all of the photos or only your favorites. In order to save space, it is a great idea to keep only your favorites. Burst mode is great for capturing things in motion. Scan QR codes. Did you know that the camera app can also scan QR codes? Open the camera app, hover over a QR code, and when you see the notification pop up at the top of your screen, tap to open the website. Camera settings. Other great camera options can be found under Settings. Tap to open Settings. Locate camera in the left column. Here you can choose if you would like to see a grid on your screen when you are using your camera. If you do decide to use this, you will see a grid that looks like this. This can help photographers to use the rule of thirds. You can also adjust other camera settings from this menu. The Photos app houses all the photos you take in camera or save to your iPad. There are many amazing features in Photos. Tap on the Photos app. When Photos loads, it will likely show you your most recent photos. If you would like to see other groupings of photos, you can tap Albums at the bottom. If you haven't created any of your own albums yet, you will only see Recents, Favorites, and the media groupings that are at the bottom. One great feature of Photos is that it will automatically gather similar files into different media type groupings. For example, any of the videos that you take will be added to the videos grouping automatically. Another great feature is that it is very easy to add favorites. When you tap into Recents to view your photos, you can simply scroll through your photos and tap the heart in the upper right-hand corner to add an image to your favorites. This makes it very easy to narrow down photos for projects. Another great feature of the Photos app is that it includes advanced editing features. Tap Edit in the upper right-hand corner. You will automatically see lighting adjustments show up along the right-hand side. To see the Filters menu, tap the middle button on the left-hand side of the screen. You can also crop your photo. One great feature of this app is that it will automatically try to straighten your photo for you. You can also make adjustments using the slider. Another awesome tool of the Photos app is that you can draw on your photos or write on them using markup. To access markup, tap on the dot 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 in the upper right-hand corner. Then tap Markup. When you've finished, tap Done in the corner. Then tap Done one more time to save all of your changes. Sharing photos is also very simple in the Photos app. Tap on Select in the upper right-hand corner and choose any photos you would like to share. Then tap the Share arrow in the upper left-hand corner. You can choose to airdrop your photos, email them, or add them to albums or use them in other ways across your iPad. Another cool feature of the Photos app is that it is searchable. Enter a word into the search bar and you will see photos of that topic in your camera roll. Press and hold the home screen button to activate Siri, then ask a question. How many feet are in a mile? You can see that Siri popped up the correct answer. Siri can also do other helpful things for you in your classroom. Playing a game but don't have a dice or need to flip a coin? Siri can do both of those. Siri can also open apps. Hey Siri, open my general settings. Safari is Apple's web browser, and it comes automatically installed on your iPad. Here you can see Safari in My Dock. When I tap to open Safari, you can see that it opens up an internet browser. In Safari, it's easy to share a link using the Share arrow. Swipe to see all the different options, or tap AirDrop and choose from a Mac, iPad, or iPhone that belongs to someone nearby. Tap the plus button to add a new tab. And to quickly view all of your tabs, tap on the Tabs button on the far right side. Another great feature of Safari is that you can add bookmarks to your home screen for quick and easy access to websites you use frequently. To do this, again tap on the share arrow and tap Add to Home Screen. Type the name that you would like to appear with your link, then tap Add. You can see that the link has now been added. I can move this to wherever I'd like it to be on my home screen, or if I don't need it anymore, I can click the X to delete it. Reader View is a great accessibility tool that's built right into Safari. Websites are often filled with advertisements and links that take up much of the screen. Reader View allows you to filter these out so that you can focus on the content itself. To activate Reader View, tap on the two A's located in the address bar. Once you've opened the menu, tap Show Reader View to eliminate the ads and extra links around the page. You can see that now you can focus solely on the article itself. You can choose to read black text on a white background or white text on a black background. You can also change the size of the font or change the font itself to something that is more suitable to your liking. Under Website Settings, you can even set your Safari to automatically use Reader View whenever it's available. Note that Reader View is not available on all websites, but is available on many news sites. Multitasking is a great feature that is built right into the iPad. Multitasking will allow you to split your screen between two different apps and sometimes even add a popover on top of them. Before you get started, you will want to make sure that the apps that you are going to split are both located in your dock, whether they are in the permanently docked items on the left side of your dock or the recently used ones on the right side. In this example, I will split my screen between Safari and Notes so that I can take notes on the website that I'm viewing. After opening Safari, I will gently swipe up from the bottom of my screen. If you swipe up too hard, it will close out of Safari, so make sure you swipe up gently. Next, I will tap on Notes and drag it up and towards the right side of my screen until I see that my screen is beginning to split. Then I will lift my finger and you will see the screen split between Safari and Notes. You can also adjust how much space each app takes up on your screen by tapping on the black bar that divides them and dragging it to the left or right. Next, I will again gently swipe up from the bottom of the screen to reveal the dock. This time, I will create a popover of the clock app. First, I will tap and hold on the clock and drag it above the black bar that separates the split screen. This will create the popover. Now I could use this to set a timer for my students for an activity. To close the popover, simply tap on the left side of the clock box and swipe it off to the right side of the screen. To end split screen, tap on the black bar that divides the space and drag it all the way to the left or all the way to the right side of your screen. Dragging it all the way to the left in this case will get rid of Safari, while dragging it to the right will get rid of Notes. To take a screenshot using your iPad, you will press and hold the Home button and the Top button at the same time. Your screenshot will be saved to your photos. To create a screen recording, the first thing you will need to do is add screen recording to your control center in Settings. Tap Settings to get started. In the left-hand column, locate Control Center. Then tap Customize Controls. Tap the green plus next to screen recording to add it to the items included in your control center. Next, swipe down from the corner to access the control center. The screen recording button includes two concentric circles. Press this button to begin a screen recording. Tapping and holding will bring up this menu where you can turn on and off the microphone. While you are recording, you will see this red button appear at the top right corner of your screen. When you finish recording, tap on this button to stop the recording. The screen recording will be saved to your photos. The first thing you will need to do to activate Speak Selection is tap on Settings. On the left-hand side of your screen, locate Accessibility. Then on the right side, tap on Spoken Content. Switch the toggle for speak selection to green so that it is turned on. Now that speak selection is turned on, you will have the option to tap and hold on text within a document, a book, or a web page and have it spoken to you. Let's try it out. First, we will open a page in Safari. Tap to select any text that you would like read to you. Drag the handles, then tap Speak.
Learning program design.
You can select as much text as you would like to have read aloud at a time. Back under the Speak Selection menu, you can also adjust the speaking rate so that it can match what your students' needs are. Turn on Highlight Content if you would like each word highlighted as it is read. If you have a student using Speak Selection often, you might want to even look into Voices. Under the Voices menu, you can select a language, then try out a variety of different voices. Alex is a very popular option. This voice will pause for punctuation, commas, and even for a slight breath. Alex can even pronounce the differences in homographs, like wind and wind. He even knows the difference between DR as in doctor and DR as in drive. This tool is especially helpful for young learners. Speak Selection can help students independently answer the questions, "What word is this?" or "How do you say this word?" during work time. Because Speak Selection highlights the word as it is spoken, it is also a great way for students to see and hear the word at the same time and make the connection. Assistive Touch is a flyover menu that will give you easy access to some of the features of your iPad. You can set it up so that when you tap on it, it brings up a menu with many different options. To set up Assistive Touch, begin by going to Settings. In the left-hand column, locate and tap on Accessibility. In the right-hand menu, tap on Touch. Then tap Assistive Touch. The first thing you should do is toggle the switch to green so that it is turned on. The Customize Top-Level Menu button will allow you to personalize the menu that pops up when you tap on the Assistive Touch button. Here you can choose how many icons you will see, and you can choose what function each one of the icons will have. Some of these tools can be especially helpful if your iPad case limits the ability to push certain buttons. They can also be very helpful for young learners who may have a hard time getting their little hands in multiple places on their iPad at once. For example, you can give the menu a screenshot button. This can be easy for young learners to take a screenshot rather than holding down the power and home button at the same time. Other popular menu buttons include volume up and volume down, a button to restart the iPad, and a button to bring up the control center. When you're done customizing, tap Assistive Touch to save your changes. In this section, you can choose what happens when you single tap, double tap, or long press on your Assistive Touch button. Tapping on any one of those buttons will bring up a list of the available options for that kind of touch. For example, if you wanted to single tap to activate Siri, you could tap on single tap, then choose Siri. Back on the home screen, tap on Assistive Touch to open the menu. Tap on each of the options to familiarize yourself with the ones you have chosen. After you introduce Assistive Touch, give students a little time to play with all of the different options. 5 to 10 minutes should be plenty of time for them to explore all of the cool features. If you're working with younger students, you may want to consider having a standard Assistive Touch menu with all of the same buttons on every student's iPad. That way you can easily direct students right where you need them to go. Dictation is a powerful tool that you can use anytime the keyboard is accessible on your screen. Tap on the microphone and then say what you would like to have typed. Dictation will automatically type it for you, and it will even include punctuation if you say it out loud. Let's try it out. This is an example of dictation period. Dictation is a powerful tool!